All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to the 79th episode of the Get Down. My name is Kareem.
Gary W. here.
Welcome. We got a busy week, but we're going to squeeze in a podcast today. Heads up for everybody. Next week, Tuesday, May 10th, we have the Get Down meetup in Jersey City. If you haven't heard or seen or are going, you should come.
RSVP, we got the Eventbrite up on Instagram. It's going to be a Corky Distillery. Dope little spot down the back of Jersey City. If you guys know where 902 Brewing is, it's down back there. So hit up the Eventbrite, RSVP, because that's how you're going to essentially gain a quote unquote ticket to get in. So
if you're a DJ or a producer or someone who works in the industry and you've ever hit up me or Gary or any DJ to try to get bookings, you have to be there.
Yeah, that's
like if you ever want a chance of working with us kind of thing, it's like this is a great opportunity to meet all the DJs we work with, all the higher end DJs in the market. And you never really know who's gonna pop in.
We try to kind of meet everybody, but I know from past experience, I definitely miss people from time to time. But as you said, you go and meet our guys, and then they like relay the message like, oh, I met this guy, really dope guy. He'd fit in with the group, so on and so forth. And it's happened, and we definitely have a couple of those guys on the team now. I can't think of them offhand because it's been so long since we've done any of these. You know, like we said, it's been 2 years since the last one, and then prior to that, probably two and a half years, right? Almost 3
for a meetup.
Yeah, prior to the last one.
The Splice one, we did one that year, another one that year, I thought. Or the previous year.
I think October was October. It was October and then March. So yeah, like 2.5 years.
We try to do 2 of these a year. We just obviously haven't been able to. So
yeah, so definitely stop by. Say what's up to us, because once the summer hits, you know, there's gonna be a lot of travel going on. There's a lot of different gigs lined up. I know we were just talking offline here. You have Boston. I'm doing AC. We're doing Atlanta. Gosh, what else? Brew at the Zoo in the Bronx. I'm doing again. So we're gonna be kind of all over the place. So it's not gonna be the usual Hoboken, Jersey City mainstays. We're gonna try to keep it moving for the summer. So.
Yeah, it's like this is the point of the season where we've been playing in the same part of our market, you know, this like Hoboken, Jersey City, right outside in New York City for like 8 months. And it's like, I was just complaining a little bit to you, like, I'm tired of playing the same places, you know, like we've been doing a lot of the same stuff since the fall. And it is kind of refreshing here that we have a season change with Memorial Day weekend and things are going to shut down the shore. And I know in whatever market you guys are in, you probably have something similar, right? Whether it's, you know, the lake or down, if you have a beach area or whatever it might be, there's always a shift, right? And it just seems like right now for me, I need that shift, like more so than ever before.
It's a combination of things. Yes, it is the end of a long run in kind of doing the same thing. I think we also lose sight of the fact that September really was the first time we really got going again, like post-pandemic, so to speak. And the travel stuff, I think, was still kind of in between. We weren't totally out there seeking out of market gigs. And then kind of like winter hits up there and you get that lull of like, everybody kind of gets like the winter blues and you just kind of like get in, like stay in your house, go to your gig, stay in your house, go to your gig kind of a deal. And now finally it's like, okay, we're getting excited and talking about, like you said, going down the shore in Jersey. I saw Carlos Melange just posted, he's got a countdown. He's going out to his countdown to Montauk on his story. So like people are getting excited and getting amped about hitting their quote unquote vacation spots, their summer spots. It's just refreshing. And then, you know what, come August, we're going to be excited about football season. Yeah. And how crazy that's all going to be all over again. And we'll be planning the fall meetup. So this is going to be a nice change of pace because not only is it a change of scenery. But I think also what comes with the summertime and the change of scenery comes new and fresh sets and new sounds, and you get to establish what your sound for the summer is going to be. And a lot of times that doesn't transition back to your market, let's say, but you get to at least get away and do a new sound, something different than you have for the last 8 months. Because when you approach a new room, you're always looking at it with new eyes, right? It's not, you're not carrying the set from Ashford or 626 into DJs. Like, you have to come in and rethink a whole new fresh set, because it's a whole bunch of new ears.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be refreshing for you, and not just for you, for most DJs that kind of are starting to feel this little funk.
I think it's refreshing for like customers, people who just go out also, you know, like, I think that's sort of why maybe some of our venues, not that they haven't been busy, but I think people are just like, all right, well, the summer's coming. I'm going to like take a TO, save some money. Maybe they're like moving into a vacation house, and they're just like taking a little pause and prepping for like the big Memorial Day weekend and beyond type thing. So I think that plays a role. And then, like you said, like, we're going to get excited about the fall when we hit August, and we are. And I think that's what makes this part of our particular seasons harder, is because it's not just 3 months like the summer is. It's like an 8-month run kind of thing, you know, it's a long run. So,
well, this year was a little different from years past as well. So we went in really heavy because, you know, restrictions, masks, et cetera, were lifted, I think, for September. So everybody was super gung-ho about going out and partying and having a good time and being in close proximity again. And then we thought that after New Year's Eve that things were going to drop off, and they didn't. So it kind of prolonged the fall, the fall season, if you will, like the fall season where it usually peters off after holiday didn't. And then we kind of petered off later.
Yeah. Like February was rough for sure. But January was pretty good.
January was good across the board. We personally booked a lot of gigs, and the reason we booked more gigs was because our venues were more crowded. So we saw more Thursday gigs, we saw more Sunday gigs, for whatever reason that was. So it definitely, we didn't have the post-holiday hangover as we usually do, which then leads to you working more, and then there's more of a chance that you're going to get burnt out a little bit.
Yeah.
And it happens in anything that you do regularly. Like, there is just that chance that you can get burnt out, and there really needs to be, you need to be proactive in figuring out how not to feel that way, and how to kind of pivot and do something different in order for you to kind of bounce back and stay interested. And one of those things could be, you know, talk, because we've done this, like, go talk to a manager, go talk to an owner about throwing like a new and different party, so you don't have to play the same goddamn set every time.
Yeah.
You know, whether that's a disco party, whether that's a house party, whatever it might be, maybe try to do something different just for your own personal sanity. You know, it doesn't even have to be always for the sure, it's to help the venue do something maybe different, but it's also, you know, to maybe play music that you want to play. We were just talking about this, and I'll let you get into it, just how, like, and I've always said this, if you listen since episode 1, I don't ever play music that I listen to. Like, I don't listen to any of this stuff.
Yeah.
That I play. But like you were saying, you're just kind of like, you don't get to play the stuff you want to play. Like,
I don't get to play any of my own music, really. Like, some of it I could dip into it, but the stuff that I like to listen to and I like to make and I like to play, generally I can't play in a top 40 style place. I don't have a place where I can go and play bass house for 2 hours. Like, I just don't. I can play 2 or 3 tracks, or I can play a bass house style track or tech house style track that has, you know, fucking Akon vocals over it. Like, but like, you get sick of that after a while too, you know. It's just like, and I think something that I've been seeing some of our DJs do, and I think more DJs need to start thinking about, is, like you said, try and partner with a venue to throw your own event. And yeah, your event, you might not make a lot of money on it, and you might not have more than 100 or 200 people come out, but it'll be like 100 or 200 people that really like fuck with you and really want to listen to what you like to listen to or you want to do. And I think having that on your calendar, let's say once a month, it's something to look forward to. And I think we all need something to look forward to get us through the grind of playing some of these gigs that we play on a weekly basis or you know, an every other week basis, or some of the gigs that we play just to make that money, you know? Like this is our career. We can't always play, or this is how we make the majority of our money. We can't always play the gigs that are like the best gigs or the ones that you love or the ones that have the most people. And even some of those high-end venues aren't always packed. Like it's just the way of the world.
Yeah.
I think having something that you can really look forward to, and whatever you as the DJ that might be, whether it is your own party or whether it is a travel gig or whether it is, you know, a gig where you get to play back to back with another DJ, like it might be worth making a little extra money on that, a little less money on that night in order to do something you really want to do. I talk to Angela about this all the time. I'm like, dude, if you and I get to play together, I'll take less money. Like it's worth it to me because I know we're going to have fun. And whenever we do that, it's always a good vibe, and we haven't gotten to do it in a long time. And I was just saying this to him the other day, like, let's do it. I'll take whatever they want to pay. I don't even care. Like, let's just do it because I need something that's going to be fun.
Man, I stole Angela for you for July 2nd in Atlantic City. Me and him are going to do Harris Day. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah, but like it could be UFO, or it could be any of our guys, like just somebody that I just happened to be talking about Angela the other day.
Right.
Just something that's different and fun and something to look forward to. And I don't know. I get caught up and I'm hard on myself. And you know, there's a lot of reasons why I just get in a hole sometimes.
It's sometimes hard to get venues, even if it's your closest venue, like your closest ally. Sometimes it is hard to get them on board to just do a night. You know, I've been battling with one particular place for 6 months trying to throw something. And now like that genre has passed by. Like the genre of what I was trying to do has just kind of passed by and has gone by the wayside. And it's like, well, you kind of have to act on this stuff. Like, I feel like sometimes that gets the side of that gets lost when you're having these conversations with the venue, that like there is a time period on this and a time frame, and you have to act within that time frame, or else you have to kind of move on to the next idea. We work in such a fluid industry that like acting on something immediately, it doesn't always need to be planned out like to a T, where like I need dancers and I need this and I need that and the other thing. Just throw it and do it. And like sometimes just getting the ball rolling is half the battle, and then you can kind of iron out the kinks as you go along.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just one way of staying fresh and playing the stuff that you want to do is throwing your own party. But like I said, sometimes the best way to do it is to approach the places that you're most comfortable with and they're most familiar with.
Right. The ones that you have the best relationship are the places that you're going to try and do this stuff, right? Generally.
Right.
And I think something that we've run into is we have relationships with the managers and the owners in pretty much every one of our venues we work with, right? And generally, we're going to go to the managers first to pitch an idea, right? We're going to pitch an idea, or we're going to collaborate on an idea. And then it's like, well, we're going to let the manager go to the owner because it's their place. We don't want to step on their toes. But I think in certain situations, the manager has 1,000,001 things on their plate already. And I think where we lacked in this particular case was not just going to the owners and saying, hey, we have this idea. I know the manager spoke to you about it. What do you think? Can we like set this up for next week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks and like put an actual date on it?
Yeah.
So you can hold them to the fire a little bit and be like, well, I want to start on this date. So let's make decisions prior to that to make that happen.
Yeah.
Just like floating an idea without an actual like actionable date or timeline, like you're never going to get anything done. Yeah. You got to say like, hey, I want to do this on this date or by this date, or let's make this change by this date. And then everybody has a clear understanding of like the timeline of when we want to accomplish something.
Yeah. Well, let's think about other ways that you can kind of avoid the burnt out, getting burnt out.
Well,
I think
I know the number one because I tell myself every week what I need to do and I just don't do it.
Go ahead. Cause I that's what I was getting to.
Yeah. I mean, all of us, every one of us who DJ know the gigs that you work because you genuinely enjoy working them. And you also know the gigs that you work just because it's money, right? Whether it's easy money or it's not, it's money that you're making weekly, and it's filling out your calendar, and it's allowing you to say, hey, I'm working 4 to 5, 6 gigs this week. Like, look at my calendar, whatever. But at the end of the day, you have to remove the things that, number one, aren't making you happy, right? So if you're playing gigs that you just don't like doing, you should probably stop playing them. And I know financially that can be hard sometimes. And I know you might take a little bit of a hit initially, but in the long run, removing something that you don't like doing or don't want to do is going to make you happier. And it's also going to open up your time to set yourself up to do the things that you really want to do, whether it's DJ related or something else related. You know, maybe it's you want to work on original music, or you want to work on creating a podcast, or you want to make sure you get a mix show out every week, whatever it might be. Yes, you're not making that $350 or $300 or whatever it might be to play that gig, but it's giving you 4 hours of your life back, right? And it's giving you one less night that you're working so that you can wake up early the next day and get to work on whatever it is that you really want to do. And this is like a therapy session for me, because I need to take my own advice, right? I've been saying for months, like, there are certain things that I can't be doing anymore because of the things that you and I have going on with Get Down and beyond, and whatever, just having a clear mind and being able to spend time with family and girlfriends and friends, and that stuff's important too. So remove the fat, guys. I know it's hard, and I know you're going to take a little hit short term, but I guarantee you, if you draw a line in the sand, you say, I'm not doing X, Y, Z, or I'm not doing something that's related to this venue or below this pay, or whatever that line in the sand is, and really stick to it, I guarantee you that in 3 months or 6 months, you're going to figure something else out to make that money back.
Yeah. We could break this down into a couple different ways, right? Like, there's people that are just starting out DJing. There's people that have been DJing for 10 years, and there's people like us that have been DJing for longer than that. When you're in different stages of your career, there's different ways to approach this. Yes. When you are like 21 or 20 and you're just starting in the bar and club industry, like, it is take as many gigs as possible to kind of hone in your craft, really, I guess, to say, like, really get used to playing different rooms and understanding different crowds and understanding different styles of venue. I think that's really important when you're younger. When you start to get older and you feeling, actually when you're younger too, if you're feeling burnt out, maybe you do trim back like that 1 gig a week that's like a Sunday afternoon, and you just got in at 4 a.m. and now you got to be up at 10 a.m. Sure. And maybe that's the one that you do. And I think that another thing that I want to highlight is that, because this is where you and I differ big time, is that, like, I like to get my own time and do other things. So, like, whether it's like a house project or work on, you know, a car, or like whatever it might be, right? Like, or work on the golf cart or whatever it is, like some other interest, right? It doesn't always have to be music related. It's nice to get that time back for yourself to feed those other interests. I just feel like we don't talk about that stuff a lot.
Maybe that is an issue for me. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I wake up every day and think about, like, all right, well, what am I doing today? What do I have to accomplish? What needs to get done for either Cream or for Get Down? And that's just, I love it. Generally, I love it. You know, there's stuff that I don't like, but there are certain things that I also have now kind of created. Like, I have to work out 4 days a week, right? I have to go, I go walk in like the nature reserve, and I like been journaling, and I've been doing all this stuff that like clears my brain out of all the shit that I think about during the week that has to do with dealing with venues and managers and people that are fucking stressing me out.
So, like, yesterday, for example, like, just didn't have it as far as like mental capacity for like well, I mean, even though we did numbers and stuff, but like didn't have like full on 100% mental capacity for everything that we were doing. And I'm like, well, what could it be? Like, do I go, like, you know, work on the wine bar that I'm building, or, you know, do one of these other projects that just kind of takes you away from when you're not 100% in it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think finding those things and understanding, like you said, whether that's the gym or going for a walk or riding your bike or whatever it might be, figuring out what those things are when you do need a break. Maybe that's a nice reset into, you know, maybe I come back with fresh ears and fresh eyes tomorrow, and I'm back on it way better, and I'm not just sitting there blankly staring at my computer screen.
Yeah.
Because that happens. It happens to all of us. Like,
Yeah, you start getting
just
diminishing returns after a certain point where it's like, what's the point of even trying to do this right now? My brain is just not into it.
Right. We've gotten really good at that when we're on a call together to know when that needs to stop. Like, all right, we got to give it up here.
Yeah.
But it's harder when you don't have somebody there to bounce it off and be like, oh, like, am I being as productive as I can be? You know, when you have to kind of ask yourself and have that self-assessment, that's the hardest time to do it.
Yeah.
So
something like even within the format of your day, right? Like, let's say you wake up and you're like, all right, I need to do these 3 different things. Breaking those 3 different things up into like 3 chunks of time throughout your day can also help you. So you finish the first thing and then you get up, right? And you go for your walk, or you go to the gym, or you go do whatever you like to do, right? And then you come back and you've given yourself 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours to like recoup. And then you knock out the second thing, and then you go and make dinner and you go do whatever else. And then you knock out the third thing. I think even in a 1-day format, if you think about it like that, it could drastically help you too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yesterday was a serious reminder that every day is different. Like, you know what? You're not going to wake up on the grind every day. It's just not going to happen. And just realizing when you just need a day on the couch or whatever it might be that day for you that you need, just figure it out and do it. But anyway, yeah. Little coaching session today, Cream.
It's my own coaching session though.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's really hard, guys. When I've been doing this, Gary and I have been doing this for a long time, however many years it's been. And the fact that we still struggle with this stuff, it's like, it doesn't go away, no matter what you're doing and how long you've been doing something, there are always these struggles that you're going to go through and you have to deal with. And having Gary as someone that I can bounce this stuff off of is really beneficial. So I know we've talked about it in the past, but like, have that DJ friend that you can like brainstorm with or complain to or kick ideas to. It's really, 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 really helpful. And sometimes it can either confirm how you've been feeling, or maybe that person can give you a little kick in the butt and say, listen, like, you're not putting in the work, or you're not doing this the right way, or maybe you should think about it like this. And that can help you get motivated sometimes too.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be a DJ friend too. Like I think I have found also like industry friends that I'm able to coach up as well, like or I can talk to that can relate, because you're on like similar time schedules, and a lot of that stuff that affects you, like working every weekend and not being able to see your family that's off for the weekend, let's say. Like, that's tough. That's something that bartenders and servers can relate to as well. And also having Monday off and Tuesday off, like,
yeah,
just having industry friends that are like-minded and have the same schedules, like those are always good people to talk to as well. Like, if you're not surrounded by a ton of DJs, I know a lot of people that if you're just starting out, sometimes you don't have a lot of DJ friends yet. You haven't established a network. So you usually have, especially at a younger age, have industry people that you can talk to.
Honestly, like, I talked to Jay, my friend Jay. He runs a marketing company. It's a small business. He has like a partner, and he has 3 or 4 people that work for him. And he's a great person to talk to because we talk more high level stuff. So it's not necessarily about the DJ stuff, but it's about well, how are you paying your employees, and like what systems are you using to communicate? And it's all like high level stuff. And you're right. Sometimes someone who's not in this industry can bring something to the table from another industry that maybe you could use here,
Yeah.
So just having that person or a couple people that you can talk to and can relate, whether it's a small business owner or someone in the industry.
Yeah. Yeah. All that stuff's helpful. I mean, it just helps gain perspective from a lot of different places. It's important to to bounce ideas off people and to bounce, maybe the way you're feeling off people, and just gaining their perspective and not just kind of getting stuck in your own head. I think sometimes that's important for personal growth and professional growth, especially when you're feeling stuck, or like in a rut and like feeling like you're not really going anywhere and the wheels are just turning. Just talking it out, kind of as we are right now, is definitely beneficial.
You know what, part of, I think it's something that helps me be successful, but something that also hurts me is just, I always feel like I constantly have to be growing and getting better and getting bigger. And in certain cases that's great, but in other cases it can hurt you too, right? Because no matter how successful or what you've accomplished, you're always going to feel like you need to do more. And I feel that way sometimes. And
I think that's
it's
where
a good
burnout,
and bad thing.
that's where burnout is born. Feeling like that it's this uphill struggle constantly. But like we keep saying, like how can you avoid the burnout but still stay motivated? It's I went through this at a very, very young age. And it was something that I still think about all the time. Like playing all I did was play basketball from like 12 to like, probably senior year, because then obviously was recruited to play college basketball, but was burnt out by sophomore year because of, it was just this constant uphill battle, like, and always like leveling up. You can relate with your baseball career, like always leveling up and playing the best competition. And it's always like, well, I don't know if I can physically ever be that good.
Yeah.
So it's this constant, just I'm trying to be better, but I think realistically at the end of the day, it's just not going to happen. And it's just the wheels just keep going, and and then they fall off at some point and you just get burnt out. And I've been through that, and having that experience in life, and then being able to relate it now to like DJing and business, it has helped tremendously. And not to just like, hang them up or give it up and walk away, just trying to figure out how to navigate when you're feeling like you're stuck a little bit. So that's just my personal experience of because I've dealt with burnout already, and you just, you want to avoid it at all costs.
No, I mean, I have too. I'm not feeling burnt out right now, I don't think. I really don't. I mean, in the past, I've known what that feeling is, where it's like you wake up and you're like, God, I can't do this today. Like, I can't do it. I need a break.
Yeah.
I've been really good about really like making sure my Sunday is like a true me day. Like my phone is on silent. I don't even put my watch on. I get no like texts or any of that to bother me. And I go and do the things that I know help me reset, and that's been really helpful for me. But we have a lot going on, man. We really do. We have a lot going on.
Yeah. I think with the transitioning, well, the networking event, the transitioning of seasons, also the transitioning of how social media is being presented in a major way. It's all these major things that can be overwhelming. And we're not the only people feeling it. A lot of people are going through these same transitions.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody is feeling it, and that's why I think it's important that we talk about some of this stuff sometimes, because if you and I are feeling it, then other people are definitely feeling it,
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
All right. I think the therapy session is over. Something I did want to talk about really quickly. I know we're going to introduce a new little mini segment that Gary and I are going to try to do every episode, but
yeah,
I want to talk about, I want to talk about a gig that I had recently, and I was tipped the most amount of money I've ever been tipped at a DJ gig.
Are you going to share the amount?
I'll
let you think about that, but go ahead.
I'm probably not going to share the amount. It was hundreds of dollars. I'll say that.
Sus.
And it was to play music that I know nothing about, like absolutely nothing. So we're going to like the conundrum of like, can I get away with doing this and keeping my peak hour crowd right now? And should I, like, from the venue standpoint, do it?
I don't know the story, so I'm really interested.
All right. So I was at the Ashford, Jersey City. The people that come into the Ashford vary, right? It has a lot of different areas. There's high-end bottle service, and there's like sports bar vibe. There's rooftop vibe. You can buy bottles, right? Like people are throwing private parties. Like usually we get some celebrities, some spenders. Like it's a good mixture of people. So there's a table like directly behind the DJ booth. That's one of like the big VIP areas. And whenever they have bigger parties, that's where they'll set those people up. So when I walked in, there was a party already happening. And immediately the girls asked me to play Bollywood music. And I'm like, oh God, I mean, I have some, but I don't really know a whole lot about it. Luckily, years ago, I had a party that asked me to play like part of the night Bollywood music. So I like hit up my friend who I knew this stuff. I was like, I need the top like 20 tracks. And he sent them to me, and they live on my computer for a situation just like this.
Okay.
So she taps me on the shoulder. She's like, hey, it's my birthday. Can you play Bollywood? I'm like, first of all, happy birthday. We're going to have a great night. I hope you and your friends are going to have so much fun. I'm just getting set up, but let me see what I could do. I'll figure it out. So she comes back and hands me the first stack of dollars. It was like, I don't know, $80 or something, $60. I'm like, I got you, no doubt. It's like,
jeez, right on.
Like 9:30, early 10 o'clock, whatever time it was. And so that's fine. I play a couple of the tracks and I just go about my normal opening. So it's now like 11:45 and the rest of their party has gotten there, and they're definitely feeling good up there because they've been there since before I even got there.
Right.
So I don't know who it was, but one of the older gentlemen, he was in a suit, came up to me holding his first $100 bill. And he goes, I got a $100 bill in my hand. I need more Bollywood music though. Can you do it? I'm like, absolutely. I'm like, what do you got in mind? So at this point, the dance floor is busy. Like it's 11:30, close to 12 o'clock. And like, it gets going early there. So
right. Yes, it does.
I'm playing like not peak hour, but I'm playing up tempo, energetic music that they know and they're dancing.
Have you let management know that this was happening?
I did. The second the manager came up to me, I said, listen, it's big spenders behind us are asking me to play music and they're tipping me a lot of money. So if I start playing stuff that you have no idea what it is, it's for them. I won't stay in it long,
right.
But we're all making money on this one.
It's going to be played. Right.
Yeah. Like
right.
we're
You're
doing
making money. They're making money. Like they can't complain.
Right.
Because that table's probably spending, because I know I used to roll exclusively with a big group of I had a big group of Indian friends that would go out every single night. This was at some point like between right after college, but before I started teaching full time. So I'd go out every night with them. We had a private driver, and we had private security team that would come and sit at our tables, and they would just spend stupid money.
I've been to one of those few.
So those people that group is spending more money than probably the bar is making in that hour. Because stupid money gets spent.
They were doing like bottle trains all over the place. So they probably, 6, 7, 8, I don't know how many bottles. And they probably did dinner before I got there. So.
All right. So now it's 11:45.
So it's 11:45. And this he's like, has the songs that he wants me to play. So I have internet access and I have like some tools of trying to get music, but trying to do that and also play to a crowd that's dancing and needs energy and needs transitions was very, very difficult, right?
That's when you go into like a past folder.
This guy's This guy's holding money. He's holding his phone. I'm trying to find that song. I'm looking at the dance floor. I'm trying to think about my next song I'm going to play when this one's getting close to ending. It was just like a whole lot happening at the same time.
All right.
And my go-to method of downloading music was not working properly. So I had to like YouTube rip all these songs, which is even harder.
Oh, geez.
So I end up getting like the 2 songs this guy asked for. I play them. I gives him the money first, then I play them. And then I'm like, all right, we're back in business. And I'm just going about the night. Like an hour later, he comes back to me and I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, dude, I can't download music right now, but I go to that folder that I had and I listened to some of the songs and they were all like 126. Like electro.
Yes.
Which was like, this is great because I could just go to EDM, play a bunch of these in a row, and then keep going in EDM. And people probably won't even really notice that they're not even speaking English.
Right. Yeah.
It's a like up-tempo EDM peak hour beat.
Yeah.
So he did this like 3 times throughout the night, and I just made it happen. And like nobody knew what was going on, and it was fine.
Were you playing like back-to-back tracks, or was it like one track
I
and
do
then
2
get
in a
out?
row just to make
in a
him
row.
happy. 2 in a
Right.
row, make him happy, and then get out.
Yeah, I think that's your happy place is 2 in a row.
And then like I threw in like Punjabi MC later in the night just to like throw a cherry on top.
Right.
Make everybody happy.
I downloaded it's kind of funny. I downloaded a bunch of I don't know if you'd consider it Bollywood, but like Indian style stuff, because there was a boiler room with these 2 Indian DJs a couple months back, and I played one like during my set, and it's like sick. Like it's really, really good, but it leans to like drum and bass in our area, on our market is lost. So, I mean, that has kind of gone by the wayside, but like there is some really, really good music that comes out of that area that's just different. And it leans in that 128, 130, 132, 134 even. That's really, really good, but that the 2 tracks is definitely your good space.
Anything more than that, people are like, what the hell is going on? Kind of thing.
Right.
Especially if it's like really off the rails.
1's too little for the requester, 3's too many for the people that are in the general public of the crowd.
But I think this is something where our group chat and all the Town guys do a really, really good job with this stuff, where like I could bring up this story and like group chats can be like, yo, Kareem, send it. We need that Bollywood folder. Or does anyone have a Bollywood folder that hits like the 20 best songs? And like having that stuff in your repertoire, while you might not use it, but like once a year really can pay off. Like in this particular case, right? Whether it's like Arabic music or Indian music or country, if you're not used to playing country, like having some of this stuff is great. Get the top 20 songs of the last 10 years, right? That's all you need.
Yeah, it's not that difficult. You can have just small folders and just a lot of them. So there are so many genres of music, like, and especially when you're playing Jersey City, you have no idea what request you're going to get that night.
If you're in a very diverse situation.
The more diverse the market, like the more chance that you're going to get thrown a crazy curveball, at least once a weekend. So just kind of diversify your crates.
Yeah.
And
I just thought that was a funny story. And like, we always talk about like the shitty request, but this guy was like backing it up with real money.
And I mean, that's what it takes. Anybody that's just a patron out there, that's all it takes. You want to request, throw
like, it doesn't have to be a hundo, it could be a 20. A 20 will get the request done to me every time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's 100% getting played. 10s have kind of fallen by the wayside at this point.
Sometimes it's like completely crazy. You gotta be like, I can't fit this in any way possible. But usually you take care of it. But all right, let's get into let's get into this new segment that we want to get into. I'll let you introduce it because it was your idea.
Yeah, so we've been trying to do some kind of music topic at the end of every podcast. So I want to do, or we're going to do, what are you listening to like this week, or what are you listening to right now? What are you into? And then every episode, hopefully we can bring a different twist on it. This actually really started with Lisi and Perla from Midnight Market, because they bounced that question back to us after we had asked them. So we're going to continue with this little segment at the end of each pod. So what are you listening to right now, Kareem?
So I'm really not, I haven't listened to something music wise for just enjoyment or non-work reasons recently. Usually if I'm not like working on music, I am listening to business podcasts or money podcasts or fantasy baseball podcasts. But I really, really want to listen to the new Future album. I think it's called I Never Liked You. But that's going to be the first thing that I play. Like maybe when I go to the gym today, I'm going to listen to that just because I'm a fan of Future. I think his music is dope. It's not always transferable to the club. But I always like the stuff he puts out. So I'm going to listen to that. And I'm really excited to hear his new album.
Nice. Okay. So what I've been really heavy into now for about a month is just a lot. I've always been into Afro House, but I've been listening to a hell of a lot of Afro House in the last month. And it all gets brought back to one DJ. So if you're not familiar with this guy, go follow him, go check him out on TikTok and Instagram and everything else, Shimza. If you don't listen to Shimza and you like Afro House, you're missing the boat. He's like the next Green Velvet, not Green Velvet, Black Coffee. He's like the next Black Coffee. He's incredible. His production skills, I think, are pretty good. He's getting a lot of listens on Spotify. But I think that his track selection and his social media presence recently has been really, really good. And it has opened my eyes up to a lot of really big tracks that are happening over in Africa right now. So definitely go check out Shimza, because he's what I'm listening to this week.
I need to check out Shimza because I don't really know anything about him. So
Shimza. Check him out. He's and all of his sets, for how, I don't know if this is purposely set up this way, if this is in his rider, but they're all set up in like this boiler room style where he's got people all around his decks, and it's an absolute party. And he's got such control of every room that he plays. You can tell that the people that go to his shows are like, they're just into the music. They're there to dance and react, and it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like what we talked about earlier in the show about doing some fun, exciting stuff that we like to do.
Yeah, it's part of the reason why I was thinking about that stuff and rearranging different rooms and things in ways where we get a little more crowd interaction with the DJ. That was offline that we talked about that, but yeah, I think that's part of it. We're seeing more and more of that on social media, where even if it's like DJs you don't know, but like the party's like all around the DJ. Like it's really, I think the informal nature of going out is really what's going on right now. It's not about this sitting at your table enjoying your bottle. It's, really being interactive. And it's kind of where I think our market needs to go. But that's a topic for a different podcast.
Yeah. I always like the shows where people are like right on top of you. It's just, you just really, we talk about like transferring energy and feeling the crowd energy and giving back your energy. It's like when people are right there and they're really into it and they're like respectful of your equipment and all that stuff, like love that. I love it. It's just such a good vibe.
This just reminded me, I just saw a video of Hugo was playing an event, and I guess it must have been his boy or something, but like something got on the screen. I don't know if it was a controller, but he went to like clean the screen off. It reset like the whole music. It was really kind of funny. So yeah, as long as people are respectful of the equipment and everything, then it's all good. It works out. But
all right. Let's a couple things to promo, right? We talked about the Get Down meetup next Tuesday, May 10th, Corgi Brewery, the link Corgi Distillery. The link for the free ticket is in the show notes, in the Instagram, anywhere. You're going to see it a lot for the next week. You probably got an email about it too. So RSVP to that. The other thing, I don't know if I even told you about this. I have one of those shows that I have circled in the calendar that I'm really excited for.
I saw this on your story, I think it was.
So June 2nd, Chelsea Music Hall in New York City. I'm playing a show for Baseline HQ. It's a Jersey City based group, and they put on these production shows. They do some hip hop stuff, but they also do a lot of bass house. So you're going to, if you come to the show, it's going to be a pure cream bass house style set for an hour. I'm going to play a lot of my own music, a lot of the music that I really like to listen to. And that date can't get here soon enough because I can't wait to go play that gig.
Cream kind of headlining that event. You got the big font on the flyer. I like it.
I don't really know a lot of the other artists. But shout to Zach at Baseline. I think we're trying to grow a little relationship with these guys. They're local, and they seem to be putting putting on some of these EDM driven events that I think our DJs would not only really enjoy visiting and going to, but also getting booked as artists.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see how the relationship grows. But definitely excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
So I'll have the ticket link for that. This is a paid ticket event. We'll put in the show notes. I'll also have it over my Instagram.
Definitely.
I think it's like $15. It's not like anything crazy. So
nice.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode. The next episode will probably be what? The live podcast?
It'll be
Most
the
likely?
live podcast from the meetup. Like we said, that's next Tuesday, May 10th.
Yep.
We're gonna
So
have
no episode next week, but the pod episode 2 weeks.
Yep, definitely.
Awesome. All right, guys.
All right. Gary W.
Kareem, peace.
Later.